because I consistently had 6 zeros in every report card. I gave an empty paper every time. If they insisted, I wrote my name, otherwise just an empty paper. So my education went like this, somehow past the final exams, always went on. 5 years ago or 6 years ago, the school where I studied over 40 years ago, they came to invite me to their 125th anniversary. The trustees of the school came to invite me and I said, see, please, why me? I was not just a not good student, I was not even a student. Why are you inviting me? They said, no, our school has produced federal ministers, our school has produced cricketing stars, film stars, all kinds of people. You're the only mystic, you have to come. So I went. I went and stood up in that quadrangle to speak, same oppressive buildings, and I suddenly looked at this classroom and I remembered, I was 12 years of age. One afternoon, as usual, I'm paying absolute attention to the teacher. I can't hear a word that he says, but I know everything about him. So that afternoon, he's trying to get a response from me. After 35–40 minutes of serious attempts to get a response from me, where those are days I wouldn't utter a word for 3 to 4 days at a stretch, because when you don't know anything, what do you say? I simply stare at everything. So he came and shook me violently like this, and he said, you must either be the divine or the devil. I think you're the latter. I was not abused by this or insulted by this. Till that moment, my problem was, I don't know what is this, what is that, what is that, what is that, everything created attention for me. I knew one thing, this is me. Suddenly this man confused me about this also. Then I started looking, what the hell is this? I couldn't make out, so I closed my eyes, initially for minutes, hours, days. One day I sat down with my eyes closed. I thought it was 25–30 minutes, and when I opened my eyes, there was a crowd of people. India being what it is, garlands around me, people trying to pull my legs, somebody wants to know about his business, somebody wants to know when his daughters will get married, all kinds of rubbish that I had never imagined possible. I said, how the hell did you come here? They said, you've been sitting here for 13 days. In my experience, it felt like 25 to 30 minutes. And big crowd had gathered, I had to leave the place because just to avoid these crowds. Why I'm telling you this is, life is in many more dimensions than you imagine possible. It is only in enhancing your perception, you will access it, not in making conclusions. This is one thing we have to bring into our children, that most of the universe that we live in, we do not know, a sense of wonder and interest in everything that's around us. Right now, we have idiotic conclusions about everything that we keep changing every 25 years. It's time we pay attention to the magnificent creation in which we are living. If we do this, all the other things that you're talking about will naturally fall into place. Because see, the fight in the world, the conflict in the world is not between good and bad as people would like to project it. It is always between one man's belief or other man's belief. I believe this, you believe that, somebody else believes that, we are always fighting endlessly. If we wondered about everything around us, if we paid attention to everything, the universe will yield in a fantastic way. And if we live here for 1,000,000 years, it can still keep you interested.
We'll open the floor for questions from the audience. There's a question right there. Where's the microphones? There's a question like right there.
You did it, huh? Yeah.
She's getting you the microphone.
Hello. Okay, my name is Hala. I have a dream, it makes my heart sings. And I forgot about it for 6 years.
Sing or sink?
Sing.
Sing, okay.
And I forget about it for 6 years, and 2 years back, I woke up thinking that I want to accomplish. I made like a minor achievement, maybe it's a major to others, but I still have difficulties in achieving my dreams, and some look at me as if I'm insane or like I'm a big dreamer or whatever. So my question for you, what signs like maybe life gives you to believe more in your dream as if you are on the right track and you're gonna accomplish it? Thank you.
My blessing is may your dreams not come true. I'll tell you why. See, if your dreams are big enough, it will never get completed in one lifetime. Only if you have petty dreams, you can fulfill it in a few years. If you have a truly large dream, you know you will only take one step in your lifetime and somebody else will further it tomorrow. It will go on. So may you have such dreams that they will never be fulfilled. But your life is beautiful because you're working for a dream, not because it will happen. It is just that if you can take a single step in a lifetime, that's a great thing. If your dream is large enough, so make your dream large enough so that your dreams are not fulfilled in this lifetime. Oh, will that make you miserable? That's the whole thing. This is the whole thing that we have not established. Right now, for most human beings, the song in their heart will die if some situation around them does not work out the way they think it should happen. You see any number of frustrated, depressed, beaten human beings simply because their inner experience is determined by what's happening around them. In the very nature of things, life is made in such a way that the outside will never happen 100% the way you want it. Even if you're just two people in the family, it still doesn't happen the way you want it, isn't it? If it's happening 51% your way, you have the controlling stake. 100%, it never happens. Is it a fact for everybody's life? And it should be that way, because if everything happens your way in this world, where do I go? Where does everybody else go? Something happens my way, something happens your way, something happens somebody else's way, it's fine. The world need not happen 100% your way, it should not happen your way. But at least you as a person should happen 100% the way you want yourself to be, isn't it? This one person must happen 100% the way you want this person to be. If this one person happened 100% the way you want himself or herself to be, how would you keep this one, blissful or miserable? I'm asking you. See, what you want for yourself is definitely the highest level of pleasantness. What you want for your neighbor may be debatable, but what you want what you want for yourself is 100% clear, the highest level of pleasantness. If pleasantness happens in your body, we call it health. If it becomes very pleasant, we call it pleasure. If your mind becomes pleasant, we call it peace. If it becomes very pleasant, we call it joy. If your emotions become pleasant, we call it love. If it becomes very pleasant, we call it compassion. If your very life energies become pleasant, we call this bliss. If it becomes very pleasant, we call it ecstasy. If your surroundings become pleasant, we call it success. This is all you want in your life, isn't it? Success is the only thing. The outside pleasantness is determined by many forces, not just by you. All of them must cooperate to create outside pleasantness. But to create inner pleasantness, you don't need anybody's cooperation, just you, isn't it? This one thing, if you make it happen, then you would naturally enlarge your dream in such a way, it cannot be fulfilled in one lifetime. The fear of suffering is what is making people dream small, think small, work small, because I dream big and if it doesn't happen, what will happen to me? I will become miserable. if you have an assurance, whatever happens, this is how I will be, you would dream really big, isn't it? I must tell you a small example. They were on the video showing the project Green Hands. In the year 1998, some experts from United Nations came to southern India and they made a prediction, by 2025, 60% of southern India will be a desert. Maybe you don't mind that living in Doha, but when they said a desert is a bad word in southern India. A desert means a horrible place. A desert means life cannot sustain itself. So when they said desert, I wanted to look at this because South India has a history of 12,000 years of agriculture. People have been tilling the same land for 12,000 years. And in one generation, we're going to turn it into a desert. I didn't like the idea. I wanted to see, and I traveled around just to see if it's true. And then I found it won't go till 2025, it may happen much sooner than that. I tried to look at what is the… I'm not some kind of an environmental expert or something. I just saw what is the big problem. Why is it going to become a desert? One thing was there was not enough green cover in the state where we are. The national aspiration is 33% green cover, and Tamil Nadu had only 16.5% green cover. So I made a simple barefoot calculation. If we plant 114 million trees, in 8 to 10 years, in 15 to 20 years, we will have 33% green cover. So I called a bunch of volunteers and told them, let's plant 114 million trees. Their eyeballs rolled. I said, Sadhguru, do you know what is 114 million? 114 million trees, how are we going to plant? Then I asked them, what is the population of the state? They said 62 million. I said, if all of us plant one tree today, take care of it for 2 years and plant one more, you got the number. Even a beggar on the street can plant one, isn't it? All of us are using it. Why is it that all of us are not participating in making it happen? So we went about. First 6 years I spent planting trees in people's minds, which is the hardest terrain to plant, believe me. And once this successfully happened, today we have planted over 17 million trees. It's a failure because it's not 114. 17 million trees in 9 years we planted. The green cover in Tamil Nadu, it's the only place in whole of Asia where the green cover is going up, it's gone up by 7.2% in a matter of 9 years. And above all, people have now taken it up everywhere. It's become a huge movement. We did not give up our lives to make this happen. This is just one small thing that I invested a certain amount of time. Little thing I did with people, I made the farmers and the village people assemble in one place, made them sit under a tree and close their eyes and told them, see, what you exhale, the tree is inhaling, what the you are inhaling. This is a relationship that you can't do without. You just have to take care of this, and that's it. They all got fired up. But this is a failed dream, because 114 million trees, where is 17 million, where is 114 million? I'm telling you, if you have a really big dream, it'll always be a failure, and that's wonderful.
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Sadhguru. My name is Asil. I'm from Bahrain. I'm an entrepreneur. I don't have a question. I might have a comment to what you said. I do agree. We need to think and we need to meditate, but success can be achieved only through hard work, realization, thanking God, and measures of success only your determination of your success. Nobody can tell you how successful you are. There's no measure, there's no parameter. In every leadership course that I go to, they ask me to think outside the box, reach for the sky, go out there, but we are human beings and we are limited. So there's no such thing as sky's the limit, because other people, I live in a planet with other people, so there is limitations to what I can do. And the time limitation, effort limitation, and it's a choice. It's you choose where to be. I think that. I think that God had created every person with a calling. There's a reason why we're here. This is what I believe as an entrepreneur. I don't know if you disagree with me with that. Sometimes things are inside the box, so why should I be looking outside the box unless I find all the answers in the box? Thank you.
Thank you.
No, I think that is a… I know a lot of talk is going about this everywhere in the business meetings and stuff. I think it's a little misunderstood concept. When they talked about outside the box, they were only talking about thinking outside the box, not working outside the box. We all work within certain boundaries because our physical capabilities and our energies and time are limited, so we do work within some boundaries. But we were talking about thinking outside the box. Thinking outside the box as a term became popular because people were thinking in traditional ways within the limitations of their social and other exposure. Thinking outside the box is only talking about being exposed to a larger world than being a small community of people. So, it does not mean that you go do business in the sky, okay, unless you're Qatar Airways.
Good afternoon. How challenging is for people to find their inner peace, and how do they know that they reach it?
It is not challenging, it is just because they have not done the right things within themselves that peace seems to be such a big thing. These days, everybody is talking about being peaceful as the ultimate goal in their life. Even the so-called spiritual leaders are talking about peace being the ultimate goal. But I'll ask you a simple question with all due regard to all of them. Tell me, could you enjoy your lunch today if you were not peaceful? Hello? No. So enjoying your lunch, is it the highest achievement in your life, I'm asking? If you have a dog at home, you throw something that he likes, he will eat joyfully, isn't it? What's the human problem? We can't sit joyfully, we can't eat joyfully, we can't do anything properly because we have been given an intelligence that we have still not learnt how to handle, isn't it? It's an evolutionary problem. From goat becoming a giraffe, I don't know, she is the genetic expert, she must tell me how many million years it took. From a pig becoming an elephant, it took millions of years. But a monkey becoming a human being happened pretty quick to a point that we think there is a missing link somewhere. It's an evolutionary problem. Suddenly, we are endowed with a certain dimension of intellect and we don't have a stable enough platform for that. Unless you create one, you will see you not being peaceful, you being stressed, you being miserable essentially means your own intelligence is working against you. Yes or no? Your intelligence is not working for you, it is working against you. Any other creature on this planet, please see, stomach full, they're peaceful. Human being, stomach empty, only one problem, stomach full, 100 problems. Because you're not able to handle your intelligence. What is a phenomenal gift to you has become a problem because you have not created a stable enough platform to operate this intelligence. It's something that every human being needs to work at. Being peaceful is not even an issue. There are many ways to understand this. I know, let me not make a ridicule out of this. There are many ways to understand this. See, suppose you lose your peace today. Who gets the first dose? Somebody in your family. They get the first dose of you not being peaceful, isn't it? If it continues tomorrow, you may pick a quarrel with your neighbor. If it continues tomorrow, you may end up fighting on the street with somebody. If it continues tomorrow, you go to your workplace and yell at your boss. The moment you yell at your boss, everybody knows that you need medical attention. When you screamed at your family, they thought it's normal. But if you scream in a place where it's going to have serious consequences for you, everybody knows that you need medical attention. If they take you to your doctor, initially he tries to talk you out of it usually doesn't work, so he throws a pill into you. A little pill if you take, you become peaceful. Maybe not forever, for a certain amount of time. What is a pill? A little bit of chemicals, it is making you peaceful. Or in other words, what you call as peace is a certain kind of chemistry. What you call as joy is another kind of chemistry. What you call as ecstasy is another kind of chemistry. Agony is another kind of chemistry. Misery is another kind of chemistry. Stress and every human experience has a chemical basis to it. Now I'm talking about a technology through which you can create the right kind of chemistry, a chemistry of blissfulness. I mean, Raid has been saying very proudly about 2 million volunteers and all this stuff. I want you to understand what it means. Conducting so much activity across the world with volunteers. Volunteers means generally none